Read. Book.
Hello, my name is Mark Eppelstadt, and I live in Parlin, New Jersey. I'm recommending two books for you today. The first may be more of interest to the girls in the class than the boys. However, it is considered a children's classic and is a wonderful story. I read it to both my children as they were growing up. The story, Anne of Green Gables, is about a young orphan girl, Anne Shirley, who is adopted by an elderly couple, brother and sister, in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Matthew Cuthbert is a crusty old farmer, and his sister Marilla is sort of a crusty in her own way, very reserved, but has a heart of gold, as does Matthew. The story is about Anne's adoption and how she comes to be part of the household. Prince Edward Island is a beautiful place. I had the honor of living there for several years. It is very, very green in the summer. The soil is a bright red, and the blue ocean surrounds it. It's off the coast of Nova Scotia. I think that as you read the story, you'll find that Anne has many, many adventures, that she has an imagination as large as outdoors, if you would, and she names all of her surroundings. I also had the honor of visiting the house where Lucy Maud Montgomery lived, which provided the surroundings for many of the adventures in the stories. So I would recommend that you get Anne of Green Gables and give it a read. It's quite approachable, and even though a little bit of the language is older in a sense, because it was written in the early part of the 20th century, it is a wonderful story, and I hope you enjoy it a lot.
Read. Book.
Hello again. The second book that I would like to recommend to you is another children's classic. It is The Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum, and it is actually available in your classroom. The story, of course, concerns a young woman named Dorothy who lives on the prairies of Kansas. Her house gets swept up by a tornado. She's knocked unconscious, and when she comes to, the house has landed with a thump in the mythical land of Oz. The house happened to land on the Wicked Witch of the West, crushing her and removing terrorizing figure from those people that lived in the lands of Oz. In the immediate area, they were short people known as the Munchkins who lived in Munchkinland. As Dorothy goes through her adventures, she makes new friends, makes a couple of enemies, and has lots of things that happen to her as she tries and works hard to find her way back home to Kansas. Along the way, she is accompanied by her dog Toto, and I think that you'll find when she finally meets the great Oz, the wizard himself, and finds her way back home, that by then you've heard a lot of things and learned a lot of interesting things in this great story. I'm going to make an offer to you. In addition to finding the book and reading it, I'm going to give you a website where you can download audio files of each of the chapters of the book. I would suggest that you sometimes read a section of the book and then listen to it. Other times you might want to listen to it and then read. The recordings are done in the style of a reader's theater, with different readers playing different parts. So it really will give you perhaps an idea of how within a story, different characters can have different thoughts and actually be quite different. I certainly hope you enjoy reading and listening to The Wizard of Oz, and I'd encourage you to find all kinds of books and read them. I hate to think of how many books I've read in my lifetime. It's probably a good-sized stack. Matter of fact, you can see the bookcase behind me, and that's just a small portion of the collection. I also go to the library regularly and find fiction books. I like a lot of just enjoyable light reading. Well, that's it for now, and I certainly wish you well in reading Anne of Green Gables and The Wizard of Oz.
Read.